Jamsters, how are we all? Welcome to Tarot C. Um, I just wanted to touch base. It's been a little while since we've sort of sat and chatted, and I've sort of I haven't really done a video like this for a while, so I just thought I needed to sort of touch base with you. Caveat, I haven't really prepared anything. We did mention some of these photos in Sunday's live, but I just wanted to go back and I just wanted to sort of take my time. I did produce a short this morning. It was a little bit of an accident, but it was in the format of a short. But I realized I sort of need to spend some time to just get my thoughts out. I'm not sure if we'll pick a card, but they're there if we need to. So let's start. As you know, which way should I do it? Should I do it like this? I could, yeah. So let's start. It's just interesting, isn't it? Like this energy, like there's something about these two that captures my attention. Now, I don't know if I'm not really sure they want us to sort of capture capture our attention. I'm sure they would have been much happier to just, slip under the radar. But over time, I'm starting to see something, and I just wanted to run this through you. And look, as always, I know the Jamsters, you see things too, you point things out. Like today, Silver Moon pointed out something to me that was sort of caught me by surprise, and I'm amazed that it hadn't occurred to me sooner. But I think by doing a video like this, you may see things that I haven't. So I would like to sort of bring this to your attention. Let's talk about it, workshop it. Now, of course, you need to do your own research, come up with your own opinions. What we're about to talk about, there is no fact. Some things we don't know, we just simply don't have the answer, but it's more about the question that it raises and why are there these synchronicities, these similarities. So let's talk about, so these two, can I touch this? Oh, here we go. Well, the first thing, in these photos, I mean, I've curated this image, is the fact that, I often see things in terms of the color that people wear, the colors that they choose to wear, especially on stage, especially, makeup or no makeup. This is very, very intentional, very curated. But I'm fascinated by the fact that these two are opposite forces. In a sense, they're opposite energies. We've got conservative, religious, Christian, and then we've got someone who plays with, now, Catholic, maybe in the beginning, but definitely, in my opinion, Jamstars, there is definitely an energy of symbolism, symbolic language, color language, vibration, plus all her product, it's amazing. But so we have a conservative and a liberal. The other thing too is that these two married, it's quite interesting that their prominence is really defined by their marriage, who they married. They both have a little bit of humanitarianism because, before they married, they were associated with charities, one in Romania, one in Africa, there's kind of that philanthropy thing happening with charities. Now that's where maybe that's one of the caveats, like that I have no idea, because I don't know. Well, well, this is another similarity though, because I was going to say I don't know about the proof, but both of these two women have both erased background, their histories. There's a lot of things that are erased. You can't, you won't find it on the internet. So as I said, I know Romanian angels has been mentioned, but I have seen things online where people are trying to find them, like find that proof. So all I will say is, for me, it's interesting that backgrounds have been erased, or backgrounds are hard or difficult to substantiate. Let's just put it that way. So both of these two women have a similarity in that they've had a lot of help to erase certain things about their backgrounds. Spirituality, we've talked about religious, some similarities in the sense that they're both of these women have one more what's the word? It's not contemporary. One more traditional, I suppose. Traditional in the sense that, but it's kind of like not born again Christian. It's very evangelical. More Tammy Bay, Tammy May, is it Tammy May Baker? More that kind of feel about the energy, and very political, like a political. And the other one, the black one there in black, would like to be more political. And so TRG comes to mind, like a lot of the things TRG has mentioned, and that I think whose work is extraordinary in her research. I think if given the chance, good old Megs would love to be more political. And then that was the thing when she first appeared on the scene, like later when they were moving to America, was this thing is she going to run for, I don't know if she was the mayor or whatever it was. There was some sort of connection to getting into politics. It's very interesting. Now, the other thing is that I'll just quickly change the slide, because this one has to do with acting. Both of them are terrible actors. Both of them are atrocious actors. They can't cry to save themselves. So isn't it interesting that they both have an acting background? They both have rumors of being married before their marriage to the person that made them famous. And that's why it's just a rumor. So I don't know for sure. It's just a rumor. But certainly out on the internet, there is a lot of speculation about previous marriages. Both of them are pretty good at lying or covering up with, convenient truths, their truth. The white angel here is she's never dated anyone in her whole life. She wasn't into dating. And the other one has, well, it's interesting. Like, I'm trying to say it in a very polite and gentlemanly way, that they've got funny connections in their backgrounds as to what they were doing when they were younger. So we've got acting, bad acting as well. Jewelry, questionable jewelry is also another bit of a similarity. Questionable symbolic jewelry. Now, we don't know a lot about Erika's. It's just that she's very blatant. For people that are seemingly spiritual I don't know whether Megs has actually come out and said openly that she's spiritual. A lot of I jam scam feel that a lot of the things that she has done, I now, more as every day passes, I see that I can link what I've said in the past in last year's videos. It becomes cemented that there is definitely symbolic language, symbolic messages coming out in products, in everything she touches. There is some form of, it's not a double entendre, but it's definitely layered and nuanced. And she's very careful, and even the words she chooses. She drops magic at the drop of a hat. Everything's magic. Now, obviously, Erika isn't saying that, but on another level, maybe in a religious context, she's playing that card. So they both have kind of. See, the thing is, to me, I don't know, you probably feel it too, there isn't an ounce of spirituality. If you understand spirituality, both these women are void of anything spiritual. Do you feel that? Can you sense that when you look at their photos? We'll see a couple of photos in this video, but definitely there is a void. There is an emptiness. And that is what, now I'm not saying they're lying. I'm not saying they're lying. I'm just saying that it's not a convincing narrative. It's not a convincing story that they're trying to sell. There's something, both of them have stories that are quite difficult to believe, and it's because of this internal energy that's just empty, that it's just trying too hard. When we talk of trying too hard, these rings and jewelry is trying too hard to cry, trying too hard to cry. Right, let's have a look at the next one. I might blow this one up just for a moment so you can. Yeah, these metal. I don't know. There's nothing really. There's nothing extraordinarily. There's nothing wrong with it. Like, I'm not. Don't get me wrong. Anyone is allowed. They're allowed to wear whatever they like. It's just that when I see them on stages, I mean, it's particularly this young lady here, she's just very shortly after her husband died, and she's up on stage taking over the company, the CEO. This one is also a very successful businesswoman, CEO of her own company, they just run out of stock, sell out. She's a sellout, and she's a sellout. Interesting, isn't it? It's just that when you see them together, and I think this is more the thing I want, the takeaway for this evening's video, is that when you see them next to each other in similar kind of energy, I think it's kind of highlighting that the energies are similar. It's just that when I've put these photos together, I've obviously done it to try and highlight the positive. Well, I was going to say positive, negative, but the positive and negative is very superficial. It's very surface, because deeper down they are not. They are the same. There is similarity, but you've got this polar black and white. And so the thing is too, Jamsters, like, remember very long, like in 2025, in my videos, I think over quite a few videos, I kept saying to you that the message of twins kept coming to me. Twins. And so I'm getting a bit of a goosebump, but like this, I feel this twin energy applies here. And it has to do with, I think the twin has to do with their origins. Where did they come from? Where did they come from? And why is it that, why do I feel this twin? Why does the twin? Let me just quickly do an energy one first. Why is it that I have this feeling that I'm not saying they know each other. I'm just saying they have very partners. Okay. Thank you, cards. There is partnerships. Like when this card, I think I'm going to read this card as the tricks of the trade, the tricks to get this partnership, the tricks to lure, and the contract that was made. And plus, to try and that contract that was made, that business contract, whoops, there we go. That business contract that was made, I think I'm thinking and feeling that this person has done exactly the same thing. There were contracts laid, and then everything else was made to look like the magic had happened naturally. Wow. Love it. Love it. Oculus Animi, I love it. Thank you very much. So it's just, we don't know for sure. We don't have any facts. It's just that the energy is very similar. That's what the card is saying. The energy, what we're thinking, the energy, they do have similarities, and we can see it. Yes. Spiritually, as I said to you, spiritually, there is a void. These people are not spiritual at all, and we would be wise to protect ourselves spiritually. These are not. So this is the spiritual mother, the queen of ether, spirit, mother, guide, protection. In reverse, I don't know how to do this camera. In reverse, there's something very wrong not being looked after on a higher consciousness level. So, and I think that the card is saying, the way that I will interpret it one level more, is that spirit is questioning motherhood. That's my immediate, the energy when we talk about twins is that possibly, I don't know anything about the blonde one. I don't know very much about her at all. If someone said, "Hey, Jam, did you know that there is talk that, about her children, and there's something wrong with her children, or she's not a great mother, she may not have been the mother of her children," I would go, wow, okay, well, that's what the card's telling me. So I don't know. She's got two, so, but this is the other thing. Excellent segue, Jam. Excellent segue, my dear, because both of them have questionable children. Thank you, card. Thank you. Both of them have questionable children in the sense that you never see, they go out of their way to hide them. Now, again, this is one of those things that I say, fair enough, they're children, fair enough, you want to hide them. But the whole notion of hiding children and the sensitivity around children in photographs is that it's mainly got to do with the media. It's got to do with paparazzis and the media publishing photos of children without permission. So I know that in America they have laws against, there are quite serious laws set up about it. But my goodness, we see a lot of photos. We see a lot of photos of children, don't we? We see a lot of children, but we don't see their face. And these photos are actually photos delivered by the parent, curated by the parent. They want to show you children, but they don't want to show you their faces. Which, again, Jam, it's fair enough. They don't want to do it. But it's a similarity, number one. And number two, that people that are very famous, that have children, this is the first time in my life that I've stumbled across people that have done this. And it's just in this last year, like it's just surfaced since I've started doing Jam, Scam and Tarot C, that we get this question of, there's a question of motherhood, and not only around these two, there's people like Beyonce, there's Kardashians that have there's questionable pregnancies. I think one or two of them have come out and actually confirmed that they've had a surrogate, and there's no problem. There's no problem with it at all. So I don't understand if they didn't physically have the child themselves. I just don't understand why they're pretending that they did. And this is why I think the card is telling us that I think there's a similarity in the energy of hiding the truth. I'll just pop that there. There is a similarity in the hiding of the truth. The other thing too is both of them have questions related to fake photography. Are the photos real? Now, I want to say, I don't know I do use Photoshop a lot, and I did at work, for work, etc. And look, on Sunday when we were talking in the live, I mentioned that what I found interesting, we've got the cursor here. Let me just zoom in for a second. I was looking at this child's head, and we'll make it bigger for you. I was looking at this child's hair, this child's head here, and notice there's no elastic. There's no elastic holding this hat on his head. I can see his ears. So there's no elastic on top of that. In order for that hat to be on his head, you would see the elastic on the side here. So this makes me feel, and I suppose I would need to ask the Sidley twins this question. The Sidley twins' father is this, or maybe Jesus, if this is real, because it looks like, and then the more that I look at this now from a Photoshop perspective, there is something not happening here with I don't know, it just looks like an AI hat. It just looks like an AI hat. I'm not sure why. I just get that feeling. Anyway. And the other question I have is brown balloons. I'm not sure what that color is, what it was trying to be. I'm not sure if this was meant to be bronze. I kind of have to give it benefit of the doubt. I think it's actually the boy's. I'm assuming it's the boy's birthday, because the boy has the hat on his head. And so the theme for the boy must have been brown. Yeah, okay. So, and then there's this other question, the other thing that I have noticed is hang on, let me just go back to the other screen. The other thing that I have noticed is a lot of beige, and we've seen it a lot for Megs. Like Megsy she loves a crew, she loves unbleached, she loves cream and stone, bone, eggshell, all the colors of nothing, the beige. And I've got a feeling, I have to give it the benefit of the doubt. I think Erika obviously loves a bit of beige, like for birthdays, beige and brown. which is kind of interesting. She does, you see her in a lot of white, and we may actually need to talk about the colors separately. I have the new Oracle cards. I have color vibrations in there, and definitely white. Like I can see now the white and black. But on the weekend, on Sunday morning, I did myself a favor. I did a real dive into beige and created, and I will show you that. I think it's probably worth showing you that. Let me just quickly do that let's quickly have a look at, I tried to be so good and get this ready beforehand, but let me just quickly show you. So this is the card that I created. And I just wanted to, I'll just introduce it now, but I promise we will look at color in more depth. But I wanted to talk to you. So this color, these are the colors of beige, and I think I've got a feeling that the twin energy is also at this level, is also at this beige, this color tone, the use of colors. Erika loves to wear white, and she wears black, and we've seen her in that bronzy gold. And so it's not, I don't know, like I've just got a feeling when we talk about, so the revelation to me came that beige and hair that is greige. Greige is a fabric, is a fashion industry. When we buy fabric that's in greige, it means that it's natural, it's unbleached, and can be dyed any color. So I put this color down as greige, unbleached, untouched, natural. So greige, now greige in terms of hair, when women get older, like say my sister has allowed herself, she's always had pitch black hair, and she just recently went through a phase where she decided to allow her hair to go natural. And so she's got this beautiful, she goes from white to dark, like underneath is dark. So all shades of gray and white, but very white at the top. It's very stunning. And so someone, like a friend of mine, happened to see her and said, "I love your God blend." And we were going, "What's God blend?" And so God blend it's a term used for the word greige. And it's when you allow your hair to go naturally grey, or be its natural color, from white to black. So I just thought that's very interesting that like colors like beige and these pale grays, etc., they're all part of God blend. And so this is why I will do a separate video, and because it's dedicated to alchemy, to the alchemical marriage, the marriage of the opposites to create the philosopher's stone. Now, when we say, and isn't it interesting that it's actually the philosopher's stone, and I put a block of sandstone here, like the pyramids were this color. Parchment, bone, canvas, that's a raw canvas ready to be painted. The stones that are more like this are the opal and moonstone. Pearl, pearls can kind of have this color too. They're luster, but so a pearl as well. Yeah. So I promise I will do a color workshop and discuss this. But the one thing that I want to talk to you very, very quickly, introduce this now, is that in terms of the colors that I've created, the cards, and in terms of the alchemical marriage, we've talked about gold and silver. The king is gold, the queen is silver, the sun is gold, the moon is silver. They come together and they create the red child, the rubedo, and that child is called the philosopher's stone, the rubedo, the rebus. The rebus is a little bit different, but it's a red child. It's the child with the red hair, tinge of red. So, very interesting that someone's children have red hair. But if you were, and this is what I was talking about on Sunday, if I was to give you a set of paints and instruct you, we're going to create skin tone. We're going to create a color that's skin tone. You would need white. And white in spiritual terms is a color of purity and innocence. It's actually divine presence. And you think about whenever you've seen white, and then someone in this character, one of these characters, both of them wear a lot of white, right? They wear white in public, and it's to convey a message of purity, of cleanse, of pure energy, of clean energy, or a connection to God, a connection to the divine. Just remember that. So in terms of paint, you'd need a fair bit of what we'd have white as our base. To that white, I'm just going to quickly jump over here to black. We need just the tiny hint of black. And what black will do is it's going to tint the white. And depending on how much black actually, we start to get like a grayish, we start to dirty the white, we get a grayish. But black, the spiritual black is a very, very important color. And I did say to the Jam Stars in the live, do not be scared of black. Black is not negative. White is the presence of all colors. So that's why it's divine in its nature, is that it's God's creation. All of God's creation in the spectrum create white. Black is actually the absence or the void. So where there's no light, it's black. But black has an extremely important meaning in terms of its creation, that it's actually the place in which creation starts. All creation starts in the dark and is exposed, it comes out into the light. So it's creation, it's potential, the potential of stuff, and it's also protection. So think about a lot of religious people wear black. It's a protective color, and black absorbs. So yes. Now, I have heard people say that at funerals, it's kind of strange that we wear black at funerals because of it's a sad event and stuff, that we're really we're absorbing all that energy if we wear black. Okay, we've talked about, so we're making it a bit grey. We also need to add some red, and red helps get that pinky tone when we mix it with white. So red is the ignition color. It's the spark. It's red. In terms of the chakra, red is the root chakra, and it ignites action. So the type of action we see with red is very passionate, and it can be passionate and very extreme emotion. Red, it can, so that's why, it's an extreme love emotion. It can be anger, but red also represents blood. It's bloodline. So the rebus, the red child that's born of the sun and the moon, the sulfur and the mercury, the gold and the silver, the king and the queen, the red child represents bloodline, and has, in illustrations, they have, it's called the reddening phase. So it has a red tint to them. So that's why it's very interesting that one of the characters in this story that we're talking about has made quite an attempt to convey. Now, I don't know if she dyes the child's hair. It's commented on, but certainly in sunlight, in photos, it does look like some sort of henna or something red has been added to that hair to give it a red tinge. Now, I don't know if this is what she's doing. Hang on, let me just I don't know. I don't know if that's what she's doing. It just feels like that's what she's doing. It just feels like it because now when we talk about this, we've got the red. We added the red. Well, let me just quickly, I better blow this up again. So we've got the red. Well, the next element, we need a bit of yellowy gold. The yellow and gold with the red yellow and red creates an orange. So we're changing that pink into a more like a skin tone, and it has that grayish. So the blend of all those colors, and this is the really amazing thing. This is the really amazing thing, Jamsters, that to create skin tone, you need those four colors: the gold, the white, the gold, the black, the red. And those four colors are all part of the alchemical process of enlightenment. So gold represents God. It represents the creator. It represents creative energy, and gold, the perfection of gold. Gold is God. We've seen it in the illustration of the alchemical marriage that God, in presence with the sun and the moon, creates life. So we need gold. We have the black phase, and that's called the negretto. I've mentioned that before. The negretto phase is when your essence, your identity dissolves. It's like when something dies. The black is the color of ending, blackness. We go into blackness, but we came from blackness, so we return to black. So that's the negretto phase, the dying, the dissolving, the decay. Then after that, we have the white phase, the albedo phase. The albedo phase is what remains is washed clean, the cleansing phase. That's why these people during their work, remember, the Santera always wears white. And I said to you, whenever you see her wearing white, take note of where she is and what she's doing. She's always on a stage, but so's Erika. So we have gold, God, the black phase, the white phase, the coming together of black and white, the two opposing forces, male, female, sun, moon, those opposing, they come, God comes from above, and they create life. They create the blood. They create the rubedo, the rebus, the philosopher's stone. They create the miracle of life. This is what I wanted. That's what I wanted to show you. But when we talk of God blend, the color really, like the color beige is the God blend. But I want you to understand that this color beige, the color that I call it God blend, which is angel white, divine gold, cosmic black, and blood red. All of these four colors combined create flesh, the color flesh, the color beige. But now I want you, in terms of words, I want you to understand that the color flesh is actually incarnation, carne, meat, flesh. This color is the result of alchemy, of the alchemical process, of the art of creation. And it was Silver Moon. I was in a little chat with Silver Moon. We said is that every single skin tone on Earth can be mixed, can be created using that color recipe. Isn't that amazing? Isn't that isn't that amazing? So when you see these people dressed in beige, you need to ask yourself, why is this person obsessed with this color? And she wore it a lot when she was in England, remember? When she was in the... And she said that she wore it. Why did she wear it? She wore it not to sort of outdo the royals. What she was laughing her head off, because she was thinking, you guys wear whatever color you like. I'm going to wear beige because I am the incarnation of energy. Well, that's my theory about color and why she possibly wears it. Because the other people connected to her that also wear this color a lot are people like the Kardashians. And the Kardashians, in one or two of them, have very close connections, very, very close connections to her friends. Her friend, especially the mother who lives in Paris. So if I can somehow, I think, and that person that lives in Paris is in the fashion industry. So she would know a lot about color and color theory. Her daughter is an artist. The other one is an artist. They're all into art. They all know color theory. They all would have studied it, like they all, and how to, yeah. So it's very interesting. It's just very interesting that that this woman here, I'm going to be watching you very closely, darling. I'm going to be watching what you wear. I know there's quite a lot she does wear that's actually not very, it's like, where did that taste come from? Because it's slightly hideous. But anyway, don't be too harsh, Jam. Similarities. Okay, now, did we talk? Oh, I just quickly need to talk about, we talked about wiping people's history. So here is another person whose birth date is quite... Now, I did look up her birth, like I was asking what's her... So they say that the internet says that she's born on the 20th of November. This is actually a court document that says she was born on the 22nd. But basically from this page, all I want to say is these people, the two women that we're talking about, have quite interesting numbers. And so when I talk to you about twin, remember the very first twin message I got was the Twin Towers and September 11, and then 11 came up all the time. And then she's always talking about what she did at 11, what Harry did at 11. There's, in the whole story, in these 7 years, we've heard a lot of 11s. And we did a little bit of a dive on the Jam Scam about 11s. But isn't it interesting that in this document, it says that Erika was born on the 22nd of November, 1988. So her birth, the numbers in her numerological chart is that she is 11, 22, 1988. So she's got 3 1s, 2 2s, a 9 and 2 8s. Now, I haven't broken that down yet. All I was interested in was that she that there's the double ups, the 11 and the 11 and the 22. They're quite special in a lot of ways, like they're quite special. And it's definitely something that Shapey would really be into. Now, I have a feeling, and I'll probably need, this is probably maybe a short I'll do, or is that I think they changed her, I think they altered her birth date, because I think this adds up to something. I think that when you add up these numbers and when you do her chart, is that this must add up to something that's important to Charlie, the husband. I just have that feeling. The other thing too is that she's 6 years older than her husband, and Shapey's, because we don't actually know Shapey's real birth date, is that Shapey herself, like she's probably 6 years older than her husband. So they're older than their husbands. Oh yeah, and this is Charlie's birth date. So he was 31 and she's 37. So she's 6 years older. Yeah, that's interesting. Okie dokie. We've done color. I'm just going through my pages. We've talked about age. People. Let me just quickly go back to the start. I think that's how do you feel? Now, as I said, there's probably more similarities that we've just started, because as I said, I don't know a lot about Erika, so I can't at this point. I do have a feeling there's something in those numbers that there's a discrepancy there, and I think the discrepancy is because if you add the way that it adds up it must point to something in Charlie to say that they were meant to be together. I'll have a look at that, because that's my suspicion. I think that's it. Well, you know what? If I was playing this game, if I was organizing this game, that's what I would do. I would say, oh my goodness, like we have an amazing chart. Like we're just made for each other. I kind of have that feel. It feels like that. I don't know. I'll have to have a look. Okay, I think we'll leave it there, because I can't. Yeah, I've sort of reached, but I will have a look at some more things. But definitely, look, people, if you've noticed something, if I've missed something, please let me know in the comments. And if you could, as Tarot C is very new, if you could just, maybe give me a like. That would be awesome. All right, I'm going to leave it there. Thank you very much. I hope you enjoyed tonight's video, and I will be back very, very shortly. Thanks. Bye.